Hello Blood Bowl fans, especially to the ICBBL people. We're here with the Pyramid breakdown, bronze, silver and gold. This is a bit of a weird breakdown because bronze is continuing and silver and gold are actually complete. So we'll start off with bronze as always, and we'll continue with the second style from the steel breakdown video. So we'll do it by teams as opposed to by games because that was just too confusing. And we've got 2 weeks to get through at the same time, so let's get to it. In Division A, first of all, and in bronze, the Dark Side of the Elf, which is the Yellow Barons team, I believe, from Dark Elves, lost 2-1 to James Typhoon's Chaos Dwarves, 20% crueler. Autumn Wind, the Dark Elves led by Undo, drew with Maragliano Vermins, the Skaven led by Smocko. Nordic Blizzard Draven lost 1-3 to the Fist and Horns. I forget you every single week. Yeah. I'm sorry. Beaver, B-E-R-L-O. I apologise to you, but I just can't remember you, and we've never spoken, so it's really hard. They managed to win 3-1 anyway, the Chaos Dwarfs against the Norse team. And Bearfield Cups, which is led by Eula, or Markja 19-something, managed to beat Raziel Wolf, Snuffles, Truffles, but I'm pretty sure that this game and this game were admin wins. Though I wasn't here to do the adminning, so I'm not 100% sure. And then in week 5, Eula's Bearfield Cups managed to beat Yellow's Barons by admin win, the Dark Side of the Elf. And same for Nordic Blizzard against Snuffles, Truffles. It was given by the admin, because these two coaches tried to arrange the game, these two coaches did not. That's how it works here. And Autumn Wind Undo managed to beat the Fist and Horns from BVBERLO 2-0, and Maragliano Vermins, the Skaven from Smocko, beat the Chaos Dwarfs from James Typhoon 2-1 in this last game. I don't know why, but that was really hard this time, so sorry for tripping over my words a bit. Let's have a look at the actual teams. Alright then, having a look at team number 1, Draven's Nordic Blizzard. He hasn't had a chance to come into the game because they haven't long adminned the games, so he wouldn't have looked at his level ups yet. Let's have a look at his 2 games though. We had BVBLO, yes, I remember looking at this. I actually looked at this later in the video and I was shocked by it. So yeah, there was actually a concede here, and the 3-1 went to the Fists and Horns. It did start to play though, but I'm not going to focus on this too much. So Thor got 3 SPP, and then we've got 17 for the Fists and Horns, and 2 Hobgoblins got man of the match. Don't know what happened in this game, don't want to know to be honest, I'm moving on from it. And then against Snuffles Truffles, Nordic Blizzard did manage to win this game via admin. Ulf Verner leveled up with MVP, and the 2 touchdowns went to different people, and, well, Raziel Wolf, he's missed 2 games at least now, but he got MVP on a Chaos Warrior, and Toadstool scored the touchdown. So that's it for those 2 games. Let's have a look at the team. He's got 90,000 in the bank, which he can spend, and I don't know what happened to him last game. It doesn't look like there are any levels though, but there are 2 levels off the back of this, the Thrower, Grim, and the Ulf Verner, Veneer, and we'll see what happens with these after next week, I guess. I'm pretty sure there weren't this many injuries before though, so some of these may have been caused the previous week, but I don't know, and I can't really comment for sure, so I'll leave it at that. That's it for... yeah, I'm getting confused because of other forms. That's it for team number 1, moving on to team number 2. Alrighty, having a look at team number 2 then, Undo or Blasherks, Autumn Wind, the Dark Elf team. So let's have a look at their last 2 games, and I do have rundown, so let's get them ready too. The first one is on page 1, yes it is. So, wrong button, there we go. Bronze, game 1 against Smocko. I have a rundown from both actually. I'll do the Smocko on Smocko's bit, I think. So Autumn Wind, Undo 13-13 Blashruk against Maragliano Vermin, Smocko Tactical gameplay from both the teams. The Vermin scored on the last turn of the first half. Autumn Wind copied them and did the same in last turn of the second half. A hard-fought draw, but fair result. Only one level up, and we'll have a look at that in a second. So, 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 11 armor breaks, and Witch Elf got MVP, no level up. In the Vermins, 1 touchdown, 2 passes, 9 armor breaks, and Gutter Runner was almost at level up range, but not quite. So, we've gone 9, 11, and 10, 14. And having a look at game number 5 then, let's find the breakdown from Undo. Steal, no. No, where is it? It's on the last page, of course it is. There we go, Bronze, week 5, the Fists and Horns, the Holy Lord Gaben versus Autumn Wind, Undo. Delves running around and dodging like crazy in fear of a wall of fists, beards, horns and hoofs. Fists and Horns was set on a seek and destroy strategy on the pitch, probably contrary to how the coach set them tactics, as he was extremely nice and polite in chat. Dodge was the main weapon indeed for Autumn Wind, as they managed to pick up a loose ball in the first half and run for their lives to the safety of the touchdown line. Second half was set in the same picture. That's never mind, carrying on. Dells protecting the ball carrier on the sideline and going back and forth with course hitting everything they could. One of the witches, Tenacious Teela, got resurrected by the skilled Apo and she is fit for the next game. Vodka and Tequila keeps dying. And in the end, Vivacious Vodka scored her second touchdown of the game and Autumn Wind get an improbable victory. End result 2-0, no level ups for Dells, so there's only the one to look at in total. 8 armor breaks from the Chaos Dwarves. 2 touchdowns, 11 armor breaks, and Lona Lino getting MVP. Bear, let's see if he got bought. SPP, we've got 11, and we've got 13. Let's have a look at the team finally then. Thank you for the rundowns, I do appreciate them. The guy did not get bought, so there was the one level up. What was the level up? He actually wrote it, but he wrote it on the first page. He wrote that the only level up was Lino Artful Art. Artful Art, and he's been given Guard. There we go then. That's it for... yeah, that's it for this team, because we're not looking at the end. I don't need to look at the statistics, anything like that. A bit confused from doing steel. That's it for team number 2. Alright then, on to team number 3, James Typhoon's 20% Crueler. They took on Yellow Barons, the Dark Side of the Elf, and I think that was an admin win. And they took on the Miragliano Vermins from Smoko, and I'll do Smoko's rundown when I'm looking at Smoko himself. Let's have a look at this one first then. Yes, this was an admin win. So, it's spread out. We've got 2 pieces getting the touchdowns and the 1 MVP. And then having a look against Miragliano Vermins, we've got 2 touchdowns, 2 deaths, 9 armor breaks. I will do the rundown when I'm looking at Smoko himself. He won 2-1 with the Storm Vermin getting MVP but not leveling up. And we've got MVP level up on Bull Centaur. 1 touchdown, 10 armor breaks, and 1 expulsion. SPP went a 9-15 against 12. Let's have a look at the team of James Typhoon then. So, we did have at least 2 level ups. Princess Sadista has been given block, which she didn't have before. She with a beard, that's kind of weird. And then I'm not entirely sure. Was this guard here before? I don't think so. This might be new. Maybe this guard as well. I didn't think there were 2 lots of guard. Hard to remember on this team, actually. So, sorry, don't really remember. I think there's 2 more guard on this team, and definitely the block. That's it for team number 3. That was nice and quick. Moving on to team number 4 then, the Dark Side of the Elf by Yellow's Barons, who hasn't played his game for 2 weeks now. So both these games were actually admin losses. So I'm just going to have a look to see MVP on Blitzer and MVP on Lineman. That's all I'm going to look at for the histories, because they're both admin losses. And it looks like he hasn't even come back to look at the team, so there we go. Those 2 pieces that you just saw with the men of the match are both leveled up, and none of them have been looked at. So that's all I'm going to say for this. They're basically a buy team at this point. Moving on. Moving on to team number 5 then, and we've got the Skaven from Smocko, the Maragliano Vermins. And they played 2 games, and I've been given a breakdown for both games. We've already looked at the Dark Elf one, but I will read Smocko's breakdown this time, if I can find it. Where are we, Smocko? There we are. Fantastic, they're both together as well. I love you. Thank you very much. So we had the draw from Autumn Wind and Maragliano Vermins, undo against Smocko. And Smocko says this, week 4. Autumn Wind undo versus Maragliano Vermins Smocko. Very balanced game. Rats on offense, scored on turn 8, else did the same. My wizard fizzed, he was executed at the end of the game, and the rat coach messed up the one-turner. 1-1, fair result for me. They both said fair results, that's nice. Second Storm Vermin leveled. Okay, I'll have a look at that in a minute. So 1 touchdown, 2 passes, 9 armor breaks, and the Gutter Runner 1 away from leveling up. And we had 14, so there was 1 level up there, he's told me. And for this game, week 5 bronze, Maragliano Vermins versus 20% Crueler. A victory for rats, but at a high price. A gutter and a killer Storm Vermin left the pitch in pulp. At the end of the match, the Apothecary had the same treatment as the Wizard last week. Beeping incompetent. There's no room for them at Maragliano Vermins. Nice match, well played James, but the luck was on my side. A level up on a gutter, sure hands. So yeah, 2 deaths, a Storm Vermin and a Gutter Runner. That's really quite harsh. 2 touchdowns, 2 deaths, 9 armor breaks. And MVP Storm Vermin. And we've got 9 plus 6, 15. Let's have a look at the team then. So I guess that second Storm Vermin leveled up. So yes, the Storm Vermin that did originally level up is dead. One of them that leveled up is dead. So there was 2 Mighty Blow, then one of them died. Now we're back to Mighty Blow and a rookie. And then there is a Gutter Runner. Shorehands Gutter Runner. Where is the Shorehands Gutter Runner? He is here, so that's our 2 level ups. Unlucky on the death, Smocko. That's sad to see. But at least you were able to replace him. And there's a Gutter missing as well, I guess. We'll see him replaced as soon as possible, I'm sure. That's it for team number 5. Moving on to team number 6 then, we've got BV Burlo 98, still don't know how to say your name, the Fists and Horns, the second Chaos Dwarf team. And we played 2 matches, both of which we've already looked at. And we had a concession. Okay. Didn't know that, wasn't aware of that, but there we go. So 3 touchdowns, 6 armor breaks, 1 expulsion, and 2 MVPs, both on Hobgoblins. Interesting. And we went 5-5-5-2, that's 17 against the 3 for 4. And then the last game, which you've already seen, but we'll have a look at it again. So 8 armor breaks and the Chaos Dwarf blocker getting MVP but no level up against Autumn Wind, and the SPP he got from this match was 13, yes. I had a look at this before I had a look at the Nordic Blizzard results, so I was surprised by that concede, even though in the video I've already looked at it. Right, let's have a look at the team. 13 pieces, right, this is difficult now. Mostly Hobgoblins got the SPP, so there's a leader here that I don't think was before. And there's a plus agility that I don't think was before. And there's maybe 1 more Mighty Blow, I think there was only 1 when I left. And Bull Centaur, I'm not sure if it had dodge before. Not entirely sure. So, well, this is the team. You can see them here. I should probably just do this instead of trying to guess who's leveled up. Just say, look, here's the team. Look at them in all their magnificent glory. But I don't. I try and do guessing, and I embarrass myself. And yeah, nothing else really to say about this team. Good for them. Let's see them continue. That's it for team number 6. Moving on to team number 7 then, Zealwolf, Snuffles, Truffles. Also haven't played their games for 2 weeks, and look at all this gold. They've also had 2 admin losses. Let's just have a look to see where the MVP went to. Chaos Warrior, and Chaos Warrior. There we go. Right, so strangely enough though, he's actually been here to do the level ups, so I don't know what's going on there. We've had a block on the Chaos Warrior, maybe he's back from a holiday or something, and I think both. Either only one leveled up or they've both been given block, so that's all that's new here. We've got 330 to spend, so if he does want to continue playing, he's going to have to spend that, probably on rerolls. And hopefully he'll come back and play next week's game then. I hope that's the case. So if you're back, welcome back. Otherwise, let us know why you're not playing. Thank you. Moving on. And lastly then, in Bronze Division A, we've got ICBBL Cups, the Orcish team. And he has played the two that are considered bye weeks at the moment, and he's taken a bye from both games. As to see where the MVPs went. To a Black Orc, and the 2 touchdowns were both separate. And whoops, wrong button. Not wrong button, wrong screen. And Goblin, yay! Yay! And 2 touchdowns went to separate pieces again. Let's have a look at the team then. I did admin this relatively recently, so no surprise really, he hasn't had a chance to check. He has a Black Orc that has leveled up, and the Goblin who got MVP has leveled up. And otherwise, I think this team is the same as it was a couple of weeks ago. If I'm wrong, you can correct me though. The team is built pretty much as well as you can build an Orc team at the moment. He's got 70 to spend, but nothing really to spend it on, so it'll be interesting to see how he manages to do in the last couple of games. And lastly then, for Bronze Division A, let's have a look at... No. Let's have a look at next week first. So next week we've got the Dark Side of the Elf against the Fist and Horns. This is BVBE, that guy, and Yellow's Barons. Assuming that Yellow's Baron still isn't playing, we're probably going to have a bye here again for BVBE RLO numbers. Ragnar Vermins take on Nuffles Truffles. I hope that Raziel Wolf is back and Smocko and Raziel Wolf can actually get a game played here. And if so, it's going to be a tough game for both coaches, but I would bet on Smocko because Smocko is usually a safe bet. No offense to Raziel Wolf, I have played him, he's a very good coach, but Smocko is just a favourite here. And James Typhoon's 20% Crueler take on Eulah's Bearfield Cups. Bearfield Cups have just come back from 2 bye weeks, so they may be a little bit rusty. So in that regard, even though I usually back Orcs, I will back the Chaos Dwarfs for this game. And Autumn Wind, Undo's Dark Elves face Draven's Nordic Blizzard, and this is going to be a very tight game, though the amount of injuries on the Norse team may cause a few problems, so I'm going to very reluctantly give it to Undo. Having a look at the leaderboard so far then, we've got Smocko at the top with 4 wins and a draw. Undo's Dark Elf are in second with 3 wins and 2 draws. Then we have 3 teams playing for third. The 2 Chaos Dwarf teams and the Norse teams both with 3 wins, 2 losses apiece. Then we've got the Orcs in fourth from Eulah with 2-1-2. Chaos and Dark Elf both have lost all of their games. So that's it for Bronze Division A. Let's move on to Division B. Alright then, and Division B. We had Zetsevs, I remembered, Bullshit Boys, against Grimalians, I remembered again, Grail Skulls. I've forgotten them every single time. This is Chaos Dwarfs against Bretonians. Hardcore Elfry, Saimar's High Elves against Clan of the Heavy Hand, which is Andy's Dwarves. North face Capra, led by Capra, the Norse team, faced off against Varkson's Down Under Dodgers. I haven't been looking at the scores, I'll do that in a minute. And Oog's Unlucky Grasshuggers, the Skaven, took on Hoy's Royal Peasants Runners, the Bretonian team. The Bretonians actually managed to beat the Chaos Dwarfs 2-0, which is great for Bretonians, and quite surprising. Hardcore Elfry managed to beat Clan of the Heavy Hand, also surprising. I'm sure that was a very tight game. And North Case Capra managed to beat Down Under Dodgers 2-1, that's Norse against Wood Elves, which is a difficult matchup for Wood Elves to be fair. And Unlucky Grasshuggers managed to beat Royal Peasant Runners 2-1 as well. So well done to the winners of that week. Then Grimalian took on Hoy in a Bretonian off, which is something that I've never seen before. Kind of wanted to watch that game. Actually, I've never seen a Bretonian mirror, so that's interesting, but it ended in a draw. So, there we go. 1-1 for each team. Unlucky Grasshuggers lost 2-3 to Down Under Dodgers. That's Oogskaven against Varkson's Wood Elves. North Face Capra lost 1-2 against Andy's Clan of the Heavy Hand Dwarves. That's Capra against Andy's. And Hardcore L3 Siamese High Elves beat Bullshit Boys Zetsev's Chaos Dwarves 2-0. So that's the games. Let's have a look at the teams. Alright then, team number 1 with Capra's North Face Capra, the Norse team. Let's have a look at the games they played. They played the Down Under Dodgers. I'm pretty sure Varkson did give me a rundown, but I'll have a look when it's his turn. And they played Clan of the Heavy Hands from Andy's. I'm not sure, I don't think there was a breakdown, but I'll have a look when it's Andy's turn as well. So they beat the Down Under Dodgers 2-1, and they lost 2-1 to the Dwarves. Let's have a look then. 2 touchdowns, 17 armor breaks, an expulsion, and Berserker leveling up with MVP. 2-1 against 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 3 armor breaks, and Lineman leveling up with MVP. Oh, that's a hard number. 19 and 9. And against the Dwarves. I feel like I'm doing this a little bit too quickly, so sorry. The Dwarves, we have 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 9 armor breaks, and Lineman getting MVP. Against the Runner leveling up with MVP, 2 touchdowns, 15 armor breaks, and 2 expulsions. SPP was 11 against 13. Let's have a look at the Norse roster then. So there's one Berserker that leveled up. I think it was this one. He's been given tackle. And then. It looks like this runner's just leveled up as well and also been given tackle. That's interesting for a runner. The Ulfs, I'm pretty sure, were where they are. And nothing else is new, I'm pretty sure. He's got 110 in the bank. Could afford 1 more lineman if he wants a bench, though he doesn't seem to be playing a bench, so that's fair enough. And that's it for this team. I've got nothing else to say really. I'll just give a second for you to continue looking at the team if you do want to see. Moving on. Alright then, next up we have Oog and his Unlucky Grasshuggers, the Skaven team. I do have rundowns for at least one of these games. Let's do a quick look. It's just one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it looks like just one. Just week 5. Okay, so there's nothing from the game against Hoy. So, they went 2-1 against the Royal Peasant Runners, and they lost 3-2 against Down Under Dodgers, and there is a breakdown for that. I'll have a look at it in a moment. This looks like a painful game for him. 2 touchdowns, 2 deaths, and 10 armor breaks. Maybe that's why I don't have a rundown. And Lone Lineman Patch got MVP. Let's see if he got bought. And Royal Peasant Runners, 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 7 armor breaks, and Lone Lineman also got MVP. Old Doughball. That's 11-13 against 9-11-13-15. And this game, where we have a rundown, let's have a look at the rundown. It's really long, so I'm sorry. Bronze Week 5, Down Under Dodgers, Varkson versus Unlucky Grasshuggers, Ook. Both teams were very true to their name in this game. Very, very, very true. The Rats punched very effectively for a while, injuring and killing at least one loner, reducing the Wood Elves to half their strength. Though the important pieces still remained on the pitch, except the lineman with dodge, who apparently liked the KO award over and over again. Making a solid touchdown first, then capitalizing on a failed catch to put pressure on the Rats' counter-attack, though the Rats managed to wriggle out of that situation. The Elves stole the ball again with the craziest amount of rolls, scored a second time. The attempt at the one-turn touchdown, while looking great almost up to the finish, again failed because of the failed pickup and then failed catch on the pass. The second half started much like the first one, with the exception of the ball the Wood Elves stole could be recovered and brought to supposed safety, where the Wood Elves powed down the ball carrier once more, but this time the Gutter Runners did an end-zone to end-zone play, ending in a score. The Wood Elves tried a sideline attack, but the strength 4 blocker carrying the ball was surfed by 2 gutter runners. The ball could be recovered, but again the ball carrier was powered by a war dancer through the second one, who tried to get the dislodged ball, was brought down by tackling storm vermin. The Rats scored again, endzone to endzone, leaving the game open to all kinds of results. The war dancer, who ran forward while his 4 remaining teammates held back in a half cage, was swiftly dealt with, and the Rats pressured the Elves and wrestled the ball from the catcher's hands. But his agility allowed for swift ball recovery, which ended in a handoff to a war dancer, who then could not be brought down by the tackling storm vermin. Those surrounded the war dancer pushed his way out and scored the 3rd touchdown at the end of that game. End result 3-2 for Down Under Dodgers. Sounds like it was an epic. And 2 level ups from the storm vermin. Okay, let's have a look then. So 2 touchdowns, 3 passes, 10 armor breaks, and expulsion. The lone alignment again gets MVP. We'll see if there are some new names in the team. 3 touchdowns, 1 pass, 1 def, 7 armor breaks. And Bruce leveled up with MVP. So 10, I can't count now, 10, 7, 20 through 22 against 11, 14, 15. Let's have a look at the Rats. I don't see either of those pieces that got MVP, so that's fine. He just says that the 2 Storm Vermin leveled up, so we've got a Mighty Blow and we've got a Guard. Okay. And he's missing 2 pieces. He can afford to replace one. He can afford something like a throw as well if he really wants to, but I don't think that's Ook style. We may actually see him continuing with loners for now. Nothing else to report on this team, so that's it for team number 3. Alright then, moving on to team 3. Hoyo, Gotcha Gurnason's Royal Peasant Runners, this rather beaten up peasant team, Bretonian team. Been spending too much time with Urban Zorro apparently. So, 2 games. They played against Unlucky Grasshuggers, and there was a rundown from Ook, and I'm not sure if it's the one I have already talked about. So let's have a quick look at that. If it's the one I haven't said yet, then I will say it now. So I'm just going to take a second again, and it's not that one. No. Come on, Ook, hurry. We are here. Steel Week 5. No, okay, so yes, I missed Steel Week 5, so never mind. I'm not going to go back and do that one. So anyway, this game, I have no breakdown from this game apparently, which is odd. Or there is a breakdown, and I've already said it from the Skaven. That's more likely actually. 2 touchdowns, 10 armor breaks, 2 deaths on the Skaven side. Winning 2-1 though. And 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 7 armor breaks on the Bretonian side. Lineman got man of the match, and Skaven got man of the match. We've got 13, and we've got 11, 15. 13 against 15. And in the peasant off, there was a very short breakdown from Grimalian, but it wasn't anything specific, and I don't think he meant it as an actual breakdown, but if I can find it quickly, then I will talk about it. There we go. He said, game's done. When Nuffle swings, he swings hard. Massive comeback for the runners. 1 dead lineman, 1 broken leg blocker, and lots of out-of-action hits turned what was one-sided game around for the runners. Good game. So, there we go. 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 1 def, 9 armor breaks, and lineman got man of the match. Lineman also got man of the match here. 1 touchdown, 8 armor breaks. That's 5, 10, 11, and that's 5, 10, 16. Let's have a look at the Royal Runners then. The old lineman is gone, I think. This is a new lineman. So the lineman that was here for a while is now dead, and we've been replaced by this lineman. And there's a blocker missing that I'm not sure was missing before. In terms of levels, and I'm pretty sure this tackle is new. Otherwise it looks like the same team as it already was. He's got 70,000 to spend, which will replace this last blocker. So I'd be a bit surprised if we don't see the last blocker coming back for the next game. And that's it for this team. Alright then. I forgot what number we are. Where are we? Team number 4. Okay. So, team number 4 then. Varkson and his Down Under Dodgers played off against two teams that we've already looked at, two games we've already looked at. North Face Capra, the Norse team, and Unlucky Grasshuggers, the Skaven team, led by Capra and Ug respectively. So there's no breakdown from from Vaxen for either of these games actually. So let's just have a look at the results to remind ourselves. 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 3 armor breaks, and 9 with a lone lineman getting MVP. And this crazy game with 3 touchdowns, 1 pass, a def, 7 armor breaks. We'll try and find out what the def is. It could be a loner though, where Bruce MVP leveled up the... Right, he's got strip ball, just to remind myself. And we had... I can't count again, 14-15. Yes, okay. Let's have a look at the team then. Yikes. So we're down to 10 players with 2 out. Is this a niggle? Or I missed next game? This is a niggle. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Poor Vaxen. So Bruce leveled up and has been given wrestle. And then Jez maybe as well. I don't think he had 2 strip ball war dancers before. And I'm pretty sure he had 1 stat up, so the agility I think is new. Then we got a niggle, a minus movement. 2 niggles, 2 minus movement. Most of the linemen are busted. He's got 100,000. He could buy another piece, catcher, thrower, anything but a tree, basically, or a war dancer, but he's already got 2 war dancers already. And yeah, a bit unlucky on the linemen so far, but that's the way Wood Elves always go. So he's going to be playing with loners for the next couple of games, maybe. Though if he does buy 1 more lineman, then he's filled up his roster again. Though he does have 2 out next game, of course. And that's it for Vaxen, basically. So that's it for team number 4. And on to team 5, we see Andes and his clan of the Heavy Hand, the dwarf team that are a lot of fun. And clicking the wrong buttons again. So he went off against Saimar's Hardcore Elfry and the Norse game, which we've already looked at, but we'll have a look at it again. So we had 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 3 armor breaks, 1 death, and MVP on Katya the Catcher. And the High Elves actually managed to win this game, which is impressive for Saimar, but this was a tight affair, to be fair. And then on the dwarf side, 1 pass, 10 armor breaks, and an expulsion. There was some fouling. And MVP, SPP, level up, Longbeard. SPP in total 6 against 9. And the game we've already looked at, let's just remind ourselves of the dwarves. 2 touchdowns, 15 armor breaks, 2 expulsions. Lots of fouling in this dwarf team apparently. And the team. Let's have a look at the dwarf team then, as they are. I think the runner has leveled up again and he's been given kickoff return. Maybe he already had that though. I don't think he did though. And this stand firm is definitely new. We just had guard before. And there's maybe 1 more guard. Maybe 1 more guard. So this team is looking equally terrifying as it always has done. And he's got a 11-man roster though. It is difficult to see. Maybe there's supposed to be another runner and another piece here. That's why he's done this way, but I don't know. That's basically it for this team, so yeah, there we go. Moving on. I've just noticed there's only 1 team reroll in this team, well 2 with the leader, but still. That's insane. I love it. Moving on. Alright, moving on to team 6 and Zetsev's Chaos Dwarves, the Bullshit Boys. Let's have a look then. They faced off against the Bretonian team Grail Skulls and lost 2-0, and they faced off against the High Elf team and also lost 2-0. Let's have a look then. We got 2 touchdowns, death, 2 arm breaks, 2 expulsions on the Peasant team, and 15 arm breaks, 2 expulsions for the Chaos Dwarves, with Chaos Dwarf Blocker getting MVP. 7 against 11. I've had nothing from any of these teams, that's why I'm going through them quite quickly. And then we got 2 touchdowns, 2 passes, 8 armor breaks, and catcher MVP. And 15 armor breaks and an expulsion. Chaos Dwarf Blocker got MVP and actually leveled up off the back of this game. And that's 9 against 10, 15. Let's have a look then. 12-man roster. We've got at least the one level up. I think it was this one. I don't think it was that face though, so hard to say. It was that face, yes. So we've got a grab. Mighty Blow grab, Chaos Dwarf Blocker. And maybe another guard. I don't think there were two lots of guard on this team before. Juggernaut was there. And Stanfin was there. And Dirty Player, yeah, everything else was there. But the grab is new, and I think one of the two guards are new. 12-man roster, 120 in the bank. Can't really see him spending it. You could buy one more Hobgoblin, but I don't know if it's worth buying one more Hobgoblin, to be honest. So that's pretty much it for this team. Moving on to 7. Team number 7 then is Saima, or Papillon 47's High Elf team, and I have actually breakdowns, I've just realised, for Saima. I said that I've heard nothing, but I have. I've heard from Saima. Let's just get all them ready. Okay, bronze, steel, bronze. There we go. Rightio. So, he went against Dwarves and Chaos Dwarves, a week of Dwarves. He went 1-0 against the Chaos Dwarf Clan of the Heavy Hand, and he went 2-0 against the Bullshit Boys. So let's have a look at this breakdown first of all, and let's get that one ready. Week 4, Bronze Games, Saimai, Hardcore Elfry versus Clan of the Heavy Hand, Andes. Brief. Dwarfs win the coin flip and start on defense. Elves play for a long offense, while Dwarfs keep positioning so that there's no easy way for Elves to advance. First half, however, ends in a 0-0. After a failed catch attempt to score on turn 8 by an Elven Blitzer. Second half, Dwarfs start with being 3 men up, but the kick ends being short and Elves get a blitz event and manage to cover the ball. For the following 5 turns, Elves keep the ball out of Dwarven hands, while Dwarves try to both overwhelm remaining Elves and force them to roll a lot of dice. Plus strength, plus movement catcher manages to score, while Dwarves cannot equalise during their remaining 3 turns, ending the game 1-0 in favour of Delves. The highlights. Fireball, missed next games, the guard catcher. Rookie Elven Lineman fails dodge and dies. Halfling Master Chef manages to only steal on 1 in 6 attempts, and Wrestle Lineman gets fouled, and instead of minus AG gets saved by Apo. What he says about the game in general: got mostly lucky with the dodges, few ill-timed snakes, could have cost it though, like turn 8 scoring attempt. Did accidentally count the squares for short pass 1 square short, so can only blame myself for failing that. All in all, was a tough game, and Andes is truly a scary opponent. Yes, he is. No level up for Elves, but a Dwarf Longbeard got stand firm as the second. Yeah, I already knew that one. And 4th catcher for the Elven roster, so there is actually a new catcher off the back of this game. So just reminding ourselves, because we've had a look at this game already: 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 1 death, 3 armor breaks. That's the one who failed on the dodge. And catcher got the MVP. And we had 9 SPP here. And then against Zetsevs, he's also given me a breakdown of that one. Let me just find it. It's steel, that's no good. Yeah. Bronzeby, Saima, Hardcore Elfrey, 2-0, Bullshit Boys Zetsevs. Pre-game. Korf by Wizard and 1 babe. Korf's by a Wizard and 1 babe, yeah. So the Korf start on defense and are being forced to fight for the ball due to blitz events and constant pressure afterwards. After all the brawling, the first half ends 0-0. Elven offensive begins with linemen getting rocked into casualty box. Leading... Okay, so somebody threw a rock and he went into casualty box. Leading Elves to commit on blocking and securing the ball. Elves use Blodged Blitzer to take ball up. Korf Wizard fails to take him down, following Elves going off for the score. Elves also manage to steal the ball and score again, ending the game 2-0 in favour of the High Elves. Highlights. Plenty of fouling by Korfs. So that's highlight for Lucas Caller. And Minotaur and Wizard rolling 1s. Agility 5-man diving into a sideline cage to successfully surf the ball carrier. And notes. Zetsevs had really bad time with the Minotaur. Failed many. Loner as well. The thing was being distracted the vast majority of the game. Also, Wizard didn't quite put the effort to it and failed the most basic lightning bolt, so permanent damage dealt to either team. No permanent damage dealt to either team. Levels and aftermath. Okay, so we've got some levels here, yeah. Let's have a look then. So, having a look at this team then. 2 touchdowns, 2 passes, 8 armor breaks. We've already looked at this match. And we've got, oh yeah, this big one. 10, 15, there we go. So, he's told me about the levels, which is great, and he also told me there's a new catcher, so this guy is new, Dimitri. And then levels, let's have a look then. A blitzer, and he's talking about getting another lineman as well. So one of the blitzers leveled up, I guess, is this one that's been given tackle. Let me just check. Yes. Blitzer with tackle is new. Getting distracted by lots of pages open, it's getting hard. And 170,000 that he's not sure what to do with yet. He said he may go for the extra lineman. Hasn't quite decided. Fair enough. And Jimmy the Fourth is dead, I think. I think there was a Jimmy the Fourth. Maybe I'm wrong, though. But okay. So there we go. That's it for Team 7. Thank you, Simon, for those very lovely breakdowns. They were very easy to read, though. They're very easy to read, but it's distracting going back and forth, so I'm sorry that it seems like they're difficult to read. They weren't at all. So thank you very much for that. That's it for Team number 7. And lastly then, taking a look at Team number 8, Gramellian's Grail Skulls. By the power! Gramellian has said that he won't be available for the next 2 games, so he is actually basically out of the league now. Though his team will remain, and hopefully they will return next season, he should be back by then, so we'll see what happens there. We've already had a look at both these games, of course, but let's just remind ourselves of what happened with the Peasants. So, Fat Taillifer got man of the match. We had 2 touchdowns, a def, 2 armor breaks, and an expulsion, and 11 for the Peasant team. And in the mirror, we had 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 1 def, 9 armor breaks, and a lineman again got man of the match. And SPP was 5, 10, 11. Having a look at the team itself then, so we've got 2 pieces out. Let's see if any of them are permanent. And the blocker has missed next game. And the lineman, dog catcher, great name, also missed next game. That's fair enough. We have Goat Farmer ready to level, and otherwise, I think... No, I don't think the Mighty Blow is there. That might be new. That is new. He was talking about it in the... No, he wasn't. He was talking about Goat Farmer. Okay. No, well, we have a Mighty Blow anyway, so I don't think that was there before. That may well be new. And there's 50,000 to spend. He could take another lineman if he wants to replace either the movement busted one, or if he wants to replace the one that is injured in his next game, or just wants an extra lineman. He can spend the money, though I don't think we're likely to see that. And having a look at the games next week then, so this week, whatever you want to say. Larkson's Wood Elves Down Under Dodgers take on Gramellian's Grail Skulls. That's going to be a bye week because Gramellian is no longer available to play. Andy's Clan of the Heavy Hand, the Dwarves, take on the other Paternian team, Guthrie Gurnason's Royal Peasant Runners. Zetsev's Bullshit Boys take on the Unlucky Grasshuggers of Ook, and Hardcore Elfry from Saimar take on Capra's Norface Capra. I like the Dwarves in the Dwarf Paternian match. I kind of like the Rats, but I find it hard to bet for Rats when there's a Chaos Dwarf team, so I'm going to go for Chaos Dwarves this week. And this is going to be a rough old match for both coaches, but I'm going to go for High Elves just because of the experience of Saimar. He's a pretty immense coach, to be fair. And having a look at the leaderboard then, Saimar is at the top with 5 wins. Like I say, he's an immense coach. Andes and Capra are both facing off. Actually, this is an important game, the Capra and Saimar Papillon game, because Capra can move up to 2nd place if he wins. But the Dwarfs and Capra are both in joint 2nd with 4 wins and a loss. We then have 2 3rd places, Varkson and Ook, the Wood Elves and Skaven, with 2 wins, 3 losses. And the Bretonnian team of Gramellian is going to drop, unfortunately, but at the moment he is in 4th place with 1-1-3. The 2nd Bretonnian team follows with 0-2-3, and the Chaos Dwarves Zetsev's not doing so well, unfortunately, with 0-1-4. Hopefully he can turn that around. And the Skaven match at least is a good match for him, though he has been facing... Actually no, he's one of the middle TV groups, so I don't know what's going on here really. Well, anyway, unlucky to him for that matter. That's it for Bronze. Let's move on to Silver, which is finishing this week. Alright, moving on to Silver then, where we have our 6 coaches, as we always do. Fallen Glory with his Noble Radiation Hazard. In week 4, managed to beat Gorguts, the Big Uns, the Orcs, 4-0, which is an unfortunate result for Gorguts. And Fake's Disciples of Bloodwiser went 1-all against Chris J's Rivertown Brutes. This is Dwarfs against Orcs. And the Undead Mirror Jackals, the Living Ones, against the Stumblers. Jackal managed to win that game 1-0 as well. And this week that's just gone actually hasn't finished. We are letting these two coaches continue until Wednesday because one of them needed some extra time, and it was a good reason. He told us in plenty of time, so we were willing to grant that request. However, it doesn't actually affect the leaderboard, so I'm going to add it to... So I'm going to add it to the video regardless. So the big uns, Gorguts Orcs, managed to beat my Stumblers 2-1. Of course, the Living Ones, Jackal and Disciples of Bloodvicer, Fake haven't managed to play yet. And Chris J's Rivertown Brutes lost 2-0 to Fallen Glory's Radiation Hazard. Let's have a look at the actual teams. Alrighty then, let's have a look at team number 1 in this Silver League then. Chris J and his Rivertown Brutes. I think he's had a better season this season than last season, because last season was rough on him, I know. The last 2 seasons actually, he said. Anyway though, let's have a look at the 2 games that have been played. So, he took on the Disciples of Bloodvicer and went 1-1. I don't think I've been given a breakdown. Strangely. Maybe I have actually on Discord, but I haven't had a chance to check it. Let's do that incredibly quickly, hopefully. This is bad form, sorry. I've been speaking to Chris a lot as well, so it's pretty hard to find it. No, I haven't had a breakdown from Chris, which is strange. But there we go, and I've definitely got nothing on Steam, have I? Chris J. Ah, I do! Of course I do. Right. Nope. That's not that game though. Okay, I haven't had anything from this game specifically. Only for the Skaven, and just adding something to Fallen Glory at the end, but I'll have a look at the main thing when I'm looking at Fallen Glory side. So anyway, this game. 1-1. 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 8 armor breaks for the Orcs, and the leveling up Blitzer. 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 10 armor breaks for the Dwarfs, and also, potentially... Yes, also a leveling up Blitzer from the SPP MVP. 8, 14, 15 against 11. And Radiation Hazard, I've got a full breakdown of this, and... Oh, let's do it now. Let's do it in the first game. Makes more sense, doesn't it? Right, so... Fallen Glory, where are you? Fallen Glory... You're here somewhere. There you are. So, Silver League 5-5, Rivertown Brutes, Chris J versus Radiation Hazard, Fallen Glory. Thanks, Chris J, for the game. You did make the strategic decisions that should have worked. I had to attack first, managed to slip past the defense, and take out a few orcs in the process. Chris almost tied in 2 turns in the 2 turns that he left. Chris almost tied in the 2 turns that I left him in my half. You're switching between third person and first person. It's confusing. But all those ones did not work in your favour, especially on the second half. The horrendous foul appearance of the Nurgle Warriors didn't help either. Good game, and hopefully I'll get to play you again soon. And Chris J added a little bit at the end. Let's just have a look. And he's had a look at the level ups. That's great. Okay, so 1 pass, 5 armor breaks, and Blitzer got MVP. Maybe the same one. No, not the same one, a different one. And 2 touchdowns, 2 passes, 4 armor breaks, and Nurgle Warrior got MVP and leveled up. So that's 5, 7, 8 against 5, 11, 13. 8 against 13. There we go. Let's have a look at the Orc team then. Let's see how he finished. Fluffy is still alive. That's the important part. And he has given me 1 level up. Poor Eyes with Nerves of Steel. So the thrower, this thrower, has been given Nerves of Steel that he didn't have before. And that one Blitzer, I think it was this one, it must have been this one, he was actually out with minus armor. That sucks. He's been given Dauntless. Interesting. And I don't think anything else is new in this team then. He's got 130 in the bank. More goblins. Not likely, but still. And yeah, I think the Orcs are doing a little bit better. You can actually see some of Chris J's games on his channel. He doesn't often do the Orcs anymore, but he almost always does the Rats. He's obviously bigger on the Rats this season. So you can see most of his Rat games, and also his Luck of the Dice games. They're all there on his channel, so please do check it out. And then, having a look at his statistics for this season then, he has 3 draws, a victory and a loss. So 1, 3, 1. I think that's better than it has been, but it's not really what he wanted. But still. Good job, Chris. That's it for Team 1. Let's have a look at the next team. Alright, having a look at team number 2 then, Jackal's The Living Ones. Jackal is actually busy this week, so he has been given until Wednesday to play his game, so he hasn't actually played game number 5 yet. Game number 5 will be a fight for second place against Fake and his dwarves. But we can have a look at his week 4 at least. So he actually played me in week 4, and it was a tough old game, and I think he would be willing to admit that it could have ended the draw quite easily. But it didn't, so fair enough. He had some rough dice rolls in the middle, I had some rough dice rolls at the end. The game is actually below, as always, if you want to see it. And so, in this game then, the Stumblers had 2 passes, which is always nice to see, because I like passing with the Stumblers, it's so funny. 16 armor breaks and an expulsion. And the Living Ones, they managed to make a touchdown. Their ghoul got over the line, and they made 14 armor breaks. So the armor breaks are actually pretty even, which is unusual considering the setup of our 2 teams. Mummy got MVP, and I think he actually leveled up from this game. And Rot got MVP. The Mummy did, yes, because he got 9. So that's 5 to 7, 9, 11 against 13, 16. Let's have a look at Jackal's team though, because he's only played the 1 game, of course. He's got 1 more to play. He's got 150 to spend, which he's going to have to spend realistically before he plays against the dwarves. And I think the only level up was the Mummy, who has been given guard. Let's have a quick look though, see if anything else is jumping out at me. Maybe a ghoul did as well, actually. Yeah, I think... I think one of the ghouls did, but I don't remember, so... Oh, let's check it again. Let's make it easy on myself. Yes, Gravel Fixer leveled up as well. Of course he did. How did I forget that? So Gravel Fixer leveled up as well, and he did get the agility from the back of our game. I did think so, but I couldn't remember. So he's looking good going into Silver Season 2. There's a good chance he's going up to Gold, actually, because we may have a number short, so it may be between Fake and Jackal going up to Gold as well. I'm not sure yet, though, so don't quote me on that. But it's looking like it could be an option, because I'm pretty sure that Urban Zorro is dropping his conscripted peasants, meaning that there will be an extra slot. So we may actually see Jackal in Gold next season. Or Fake, depending on who wins the match, sorry. No offense to Fake, I didn't mean to ignore your chances. So far this season, he's managed to go 2, 2, and 1 game left over. So 2, 2, 0 with 1 game left to play. That's his record. Moving on. Alright, moving on to team number 3. This is my team, the Stumblers, the kind of undead team. They actually played their last game this week. They're going to retire after Silver, so they are waving bye-bye. See, look at them wave. Oh. Okay then, so first of all, we had the game against Jackal, and it was a bizarre game, to be honest. You can see it below, of course, and we have already looked at this game when talking about Jackal. But yeah, he was quite unlucky actually, even though he came away with a win, and at the end I was quite unlucky when I could have drawn, but Nuffle said no thank you. Just reminding ourselves of what happened to my team in this game then. There were 2 passes, 16 armor breaks, and an expulsion, because there was some fouling. And then we had 11 SPP. And in the other game, which we haven't looked at yet, this was the game that was played earlier today, actually. Gorgut's the Big Uns. Gorgut's got battle match, that's funny. Against my Stumblers. And this game was, well, it was quite standard until the end, where it got absolutely crazy. If you want to watch the video, I would recommend between turn 13 and the end. It got insane, it really did. Gorgus managed to win 2-1, and he got 2 touchdowns, 2 passes, and 12 armor breaks, with Gorgus the Black Hawk getting man of the match. And the Stumblers got 1 touchdown, 2 passes, and 3 armor breaks, with Rot getting man of the match and actually leveling up from this game. In terms of SPP, we've got 12, 14, 16, plus 5, 21, and 5, 10, 14. 21 against 14. There we go. Let's have a look at the Stumbler team then. So I think the only thing that's new is the Dauntless I gave to Rot, and I gave it to Rot. I gave Rot Dauntless because he always fights the big guy, so he's going to continue that mission in his life going forward. Otherwise, I think the team is exactly the same. There was maybe 1 level up from last week, but I don't really remember it, so I'm going to say that's all. The important thing is, the interesting thing, though, is that Relic is actually 1 away from leveling. But I am going to retire this team. I'm kind of tired of playing them, so they are actually leaving Silver. And they've gone out on, to be honest, their worst season, which is a shame. But at least they did a lot of passing. So this season we actually had 4 losses. Yeah, 4 losses and a draw. So we're 0, 1, 4. So Stumblers were relegating anyway, but they're actually deciding to retire and make way for the Chaos. Moving on. Moving on to team number 4 then, the Disciples of Bloodvisor. They have 1 more game to play because Jackal is their last opponent, so they're only 4 games in, but it's not going to be played until Wednesday, and I'm not going to slow down my recording just because of 1 game. So, well, 2 games with luck of the dice, but that goes out on Wednesday anyway, so no big deal. The Dwarf team, looking at the wrong page. Last week they played against the Orcs and they managed to draw 1-1. So, 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 10 arm breaks with Turretash getting MVP, potentially leveling up, depends if he got anything else. And the Orcs had 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 8 armor breaks, and Blitzer, Orc Fists, leveled up. There was a rundown of this game, but I'll wait until I get to Chris J to talk about it. Or I already spoke about it, I can't remember where Chris J's team was. And yes, Turretash actually did level up. We got a 6-1, so 15 against 11. Let's have a look at the team then, because they've only played 1 game so far. Turretash is here, he's been given sure hands. Interesting on a blitzer, but sure. And otherwise, I think this team hasn't changed. This wrestle might be new, though I think it was already there, so no, I don't think anything else has changed on this team. I think that's all. And they've got the 1 more game to play against Jackal to see who is going to finish in 2nd place in Silver this season. So, the Dwarfs have gone 1-2, 2-1-1 with a game left to play. That's the Dwarf record, so well done to Feke, being near the top of Silver. And look forward to seeing you in Silver or Gold next season. That's it for this team. Alright, taking a look at team number 5, Fallen Glory and his Radiation Hazard. Nearly there. His 2 games were both Orcs, and he managed to beat them both. Wow, he beat Gorgutz 4-0, and he beat Chris 2-0. So, there we go. We've already seen this game. We've already seen both games, actually, but let's have a look at them again anyway. So, we've got 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 9 armor breaks. No report on this match. Against 7 armor breaks, 1 pass. Yeah, it looks like it was a really tough game for Gorgutz. And Lineman and Noble Warrior both got 5 as the MVP, their first SPP so far. SPP in total then 5, that's the Orc side. 11, 13, 18, 23. There we go then. And against the Rivertown Brutes, again we've already seen this game. So, Noble Warrior leveling up. 2 touchdowns, 2 passes, 4 armor breaks. We've already gone through the rundown from the first game. And 11, 13. Let's have a look at the team then. I've actually been given the level ups, so let's have a look at them. Get to the bottom of the page. Go, go, go. Go, go, gone. Yep. Right, so we've got Pestigore and Noble Warrior. Right. Pestigore with jump up. Where's he? He is here. So this Pestigore's been given jump up. And Noble Warrior with block. This one, yes. That's the only level ups, unless there were a couple from the Gorgets game. Let's have a quick look, see if there's anything that's jumping out as new. No. Maybe guard on the Rotter? Was that there before? Hard to say. Anyway, Fallen Glory is actually the winner of silver with his record now, because he... Well, let's carry on with the game. He's got 30 in the bank, so he can't spend on anything, and he's got a 13-man roster, can't count. And yeah, he is the winner of silver. So, and his record was 4 wins, 0 draws, and a loss. So, well done to Fallen Glory. He is promoting to gold next season. It's his second team that's actually got to the top tier of the ladder as well, so that's interesting to know. So, good luck in gold next season, Fallen. That's it for team number 5. And lastly then, having a look at Gorgets Edund and his Big Uns team, the Orc team. We've actually had a look at both these games, but let's just remind ourselves very quickly. Yeah, rough old game against Fallen Glory, and actually there is a rundown to this. I forgot about it, so let's do it now. I need to find it though. I should have thought about this before I came on, but here we go, because I didn't do the rundown during Fallen Glory's time. That much I remember. Here we go. So, Silver League Week 4, the Big Uns, Gorgets versus Radiation Hazard, Fallen Glory. Thanks for the game and the good spirit as always at Gorgets. And I want to say the same actually at Gorgets for our game. Tough one for you. Nurgle started with defense as usual and managed to loosen the ball halfway through the first drive and score. On the second drive, a score was quickly achieved. Orcs were ready to make the 2-1 but failed some critical rolls, leaving them in a bad spot, causing 3-0. Another score on turn 16 was achieved by a cheeky ball steal from Roic, the notorious Pestigore. There's a new Pestigore in the team, and if you want to have a look at the rundowns in Steam, there is actually a moment of the match posted in the breakdown as well. So just reminding ourselves of the Orc side, because I've already looked at this game. We had a pass and 7 armor breaks from the Big Uns and Glue-Gob. It's a great name. The Lone Lineman got MVP, we'll see if he got bought. And then Radiation Hazard, 4 touchdowns, 9 armor breaks, 1 interception. Always an interception from Fallen Glory. And Nurgle Warrior got MVP, and we've already talked about this, so I don't know what I'm doing. And 10 for the Orcs. So let's move on to game number 5, the one against me. We've also already talked about this. Just remind ourselves of the Orc side though, 2 touchdowns, 2 passes, 12 armor breaks, and Gorgets himself got man of the match. And he actually leveled up from that man of the match. And there was 7, 10, 12, 14, 16, plus 5, 21. 21 SPP, so lots of SPP from that game. He didn't buy that lineman, because he's only got 1 lineman in the team, and that's not his name. Though he did have 2 injuries from the last game. I don't remember what they were. I don't think any of them from... Yeah, this one I think was permanent. So the minus armor value, and Gork was out on miss next game. And he's taken an injury on the Blitzer this time, and I don't think it was permanent. I think it was just a miss next game. Yes, it was. And in terms of levels, I don't think there are any. Though the Black Hawk is 1 away from leveling, much like Relic was. He actually tried to pass at the end, but unfortunately it failed, so he's still 1 away from leveling. There may be 1 more block. I kind of feel like there is. I don't think the entire team had block, but I may be wrong. So, yeah, nothing else new for the Orcs. And he finishes with 11 players. The team is looking pretty good going into next season. They're quite a young Orc team. How many games have they actually played? They've played 15 games, so yeah, they're a very young Orc team considering they're in Silver. They're going to face 1 more League of Silver because they are second to last in the league, unfortunately. Because we played our last game for the relegation. And here we go then, so he's gone 1-1-1-1-3. That's been the record for the Orcs this season. But he got a win right at the end, so congratulations to Gorgets, and I hope to see these guys continue in Silver next season. That's it for the teams. Let's have a quick look at the leaderboard then, at the end of Silver. Keep in mind that these two teams have not played yet, they've got one more game to go. And I feel like I've already done this actually, so just moving on for a second. Okay, I haven't already done it, just as always I'm losing my mind, but that's all cool. So at the end of this season, Fallen Glory has actually taken the win with an almost perfect game, 4 wins, 0 draws and 1 loss. So congratulations Fallen Glory. The Living Ones and the Dwarves I was playing off for second and third because they've only got 4 games played, they've got 1 more to go. At the moment the Living Ones are in second with 2 wins and 2 draws, and the Disciples of Bloodvisor are in third with 2 wins, a draw and a loss. If the Disciples of Bloodvisor win, they move up to second. If they don't win, if anything else happens, then they stay in third. Chris J came in fourth, a more respectable run for the Rivertown Brutes, so it'll be interesting to see whether he keeps the team or not. 1 win, 3 draws and a loss. The Biggins came in 5th. It was a hard-fought 5th, but they did get it in the end with 1 win, 1 draw and 3 losses. And the Stumblers are at the bottom with 1 draw and 4 losses, which is their worst record so far, and it's a shame that they're retiring on that pretty crappy record. That's it for silver. Let's move on to gold. Alright, so finally then having a look at gold, the top of the tier, the last division we're going to look at in these 2 breakdowns. They're obviously 2 weeks worth of games. So Demon Eamon's Blood Frenzied Herd got the bye in the first week, so that's 2-1 to him of course. The Real Beastie Boys, the other Chaos team led by Yasinde, played against Purple Misfits the Dwarves, and the Real Beastie Boys managed to win 2-0. And No Fun Dead Allowed, the Lizard team managed to beat the Peasants led by Urban Zorro, the Conscripted Peasants, 3-1. That was week 4. And in week 5, Peasants from Urban Zorro got the bye. No Fun Dead Allowed managed to take down Purple Misfits, Rylock versus Top Hat, Lizards versus Dwarves. And in the Chaos Mirror, Yasinde's Chaos Boys, the Real Beastie Boys, managed to put away Demoniamon's Blood Frenzied Herd. Let's have a look at the actual teams then. Alright, starting off with Top Hat's Dwarves, the Purple Misfits. Right then, they had 2 games. They lost them both. They lost 1 against the Real Beastie Boys, led by Yasinde, and they lost 1 against the Lizards. Let's have a look at the 2 of them. Yasinde gave me a breakdown of this game, but I will say it in Yasinde's part, not in Top Hat's part. So, we had 2 touchdowns, 16 armor breaks, a death, an expulsion, 14 armor breaks, 2 passes, and we had Beastman leveling up, Leafagors, and Varber getting MVP but not leveling up, but 1 away, so maybe next game he will manage to level up. I did that in a weird order, didn't I? And then we've got 5, 11, 14 against 5, 11, 14. There we go, 14 against 14. And then his game from this week, he was against No Fun Dead Allowed, lost 2-1. And I've got an unofficial breakdown from Rylock that I'll look at when I'm looking at Rylock's teams. So, Rylock's games. So 2-1 to Rylock and No Fun Dead Allowed. 2 touchdowns, death and 5 arm breaks for the Lizards, with 90k Orc Blitzer getting MVP but no level up. And 1 touchdown, 15 armor breaks, and an expulsion. No surprises here. I guess that was the Death Roller. And Varber again got man of the match, and this time he did manage to level up. And SPP, just 11 for Rylock, and 11, 15, 24 for Top Hat. Let's have a look at the Dwarves as they finish. So Varber, where is he? He's down here. He's been given guard. And other than that, the dead dwarf as well, one of the linemen is actually dead, so he wants to replace him as quickly as possible. Or maybe a Troll Slayer is dead. Oh no, there's one here. Troll Slayer, Blitzer, Blitzer. Longbeards. Was there a runner? There may have been a runner. I don't remember a runner though, so I think it was a Longbeard. Though it may have been a runner. He's only got 10 in the bank, so we can't replace this player anytime soon, which is bad news when you're playing with a Death Roller, because you want at least 12. Because of course the Death Roller is only going to survive for 1 of the 2 drives, or until the first score. And other than that, nothing is jumping out as new. There could be a new Mighty Blow or something, but this whole team is built very similarly. It's difficult to remember who's done what. This tackle might be new as well. I think this tackle is new actually. And this Mighty Blow, I can't remember. I don't remember if he had a rookie I think he did have a rookie actually, so maybe this Mighty Blow is new as well. So anyway, let's have a look then. Purple Misfits finish with 1 win from the admin, 1 draw against the Conscripted Peasants, and 3 losses against the 2 Chaos teams and the Lizards. So they go 1-1-3 at the end. That's it for team number 1. Alright, then having a look at team number 2 with Urban Zorro's Conscripted Peasants. They've managed to survive, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly, he plays them very well, but still. And he didn't manage to beat No Fun Dead Allowed. He wanted that so badly, and unfortunately he didn't manage it. He lost 3-1 to Rylux Lizards, and then he won the admin game, of course, the concede. So, not awful for him to be fair, but still, that's a pretty rough end. Alright, then let's have a look at the game against Ryluk. I haven't had a breakdown from either team, either coach. There are 3 touchdowns, 9 armor breaks, and Lufer is a loser leveled up with the MVP. Then we've got the Conscripted Peasants with 1 touchdown, 13 armor breaks, 5 expulsions. Wow, that's a lot. And yeah, the lineman got MVP but didn't level up from it. 3-1 to No Fun Dead Allowed. And that's 14 against 8. And then, just to see where it went on the admin win, wrong team. So 2 touchdowns, and lineman got MVP, no surprise really, and it did get spread out between 4 pieces. Don't think we've got any levels then. Let's just have a quick look then. And this may have been the Conscripted Peasants last season. I'm pretty sure it is. He's talking about carrying on with the Necromantics, so there is that. We may be saying goodbye to the Peasants. We may also be saying goodbye to the Stumblers, by the way, if I didn't mention that before. He's got 140 in the bank, which, unless he really wants to buy the last Peasant, which he won't actually because it's reserved for Zug, so that's not going to happen. He's got to spend it somehow soon though, but not yet, at least. And nothing is jumping out as new. There may be one more wrestle, but otherwise I don't know. And maybe this Niggle wasn't here before, but otherwise it looks like the team is exactly the same as it was. All the dirty player. Doubles, of course, get something interesting. Everyone who gets a normal gets dirty player wrestle, apparently. So there we go. And we finished. I keep doing that, I can't actually do it that way. So 1 win, 2 draws, and 2 losses. 1-2-2 for Urban Zorro. Give him a round of applause as his Conscripted Peasants take a bow and leave the ICBBL Pyramid. Well done, Urban Zorro, for getting this high. It's impressive. That's it for team number 2. Alright, moving on to team number 3, the champion of gold. So congratulations to Ryluk. He actually won all 5 of his games. I'm going to say that right now. And let's have a look at his final moments. He played against the Conscripted Peasants, where he won 3-1, and he played against the Purple Misfits, where he won 2-1. We've actually looked at both of these games already. Let's just remind ourselves of the Lizard side. So on the Lizard side, we've got 3 touchdowns, 9 armor breaks, and Lufer is a loser, leveled up. And he got 14 on his side in the SPP. And against the Purple Misfits, he gave a short little unofficial breakdown. He said, "No Fun Dead Allowed have completed the perfect season at the top of gold, but at a terrible cost." And below he has a picture of 8 injured players, 1 of which is dead, and also a KO. And I can see all of the Croxigor, I can see the Croxigor, and I think all of the Saurus in this injury pool. But he still managed to win, so congratulations to Ryluk there. And 2 touchdowns, 1 death, which was a Saurus, and 5 armor breaks for the Lizards, with 90k Orc Blitzer getting MVP, but not leveling up. And he only got 11 from this. So just Lufer, I think, is his only level up in the team. As you can see, it's a pretty beaten up team. I've already actually looked at the injuries to make this quicker. The only one that's permanent is the Croxigor. He's taken a 2nd minus movement. So he's actually got 2 minus movements on this piece. He's got 220 to spend, so he could at least replace the Saurus. I don't think he can replace the Saurus and the Croxigor, Actually, he can, because the Saurus is only 80. Yeah, I think he can actually replace both pieces if he wants to remove the minus movement Croxagore, he can do. Though it looks like he's been built as a roadblock anyway, so I don't know if it's necessary to remove him. And he's going to be playing with at least three loners in the first match of Gold next season, whenever that will be. Luther is a loser, I think, was the only one that leveled up, and he's been given block, and I don't think anything else stood out as a level, otherwise I think the team is as it was. And sorry, he's not playing with at least 3, he's playing with at least 2 loners, because he's got 11 pieces in his team. Though if he replaces these 2, then only 1 loner. That's not so bad, actually. That's not a bad start to the season, to be honest. And I already said that he's won all 5 games, but let's just give him the... Let's have a look at it anyway. So he has won all 5 games, as you can see, including the admin win, of course. But he's won every game by at least... Well, he's scored at least 2 in every single game. So, impressive stuff, Relic. And congratulations on being our first ever gold winner. Huge congratulations to you. Please do give him congratulations when you see him. And don't forget, Relic is one of our admins and he works really hard. So, you know, give him all the respect he's due for this fantastic feat and achievement. That's it for game number 3. Alright, moving on to team number 3. I'm not sure now, let me just check that if we're on 3. 4, sorry, team number 4. I'm going crazy. Team number 4 then, Yasinde, is the real Beastie Boys, the Chaos team. They also survived. I don't know why, but I think in gold everybody needs to die. But there we go. So, we've got the game against the Purple Misfits that we've already seen, and the mirror match against Blood Frenzied Herd, so Chaos Chaos. Let's have a look at this one first of all, and I've had no... Actually, I say that I have had rundowns from Yasinde. Yes, of course I have. Right. Gold Cup Week 5. Want Week 4 first. Gold Cup Week 4, there we go then. So, that's this game here. The Real Beastie Boys versus Top Hat. It's really long. Purple Misfits 2-0. It was a brutal match, which was to be expected given the Dwarves alone had 11 Mighty Blow and 2 Piling Ons. Chaos received first, Death Roller fouled and got sent off, only KOing the killer of the Chaos team, U. I used an Atto on a BH? Chaos Warrior? BH. Not sure. I was already down 2 Beastmen at the time, though I was aware... badly hurt. Badly hurt Chaos Warrior, since I was already down 2 Beastmen at the time. Though I was aware that there will still more beating to come. I scored on turn 5. Finally, Yor made his touchdown. He tried the whole season. And Riot stole both teams' turn. It was 1-0 at half-time, and my team was still complete. The Dwarves had the Death Roller out, and one Longbeard KO'd. I fouled that murderous Troll Slayer 3 times that half, but only got stuns. Second half started with a very long kick and rainy weather, but his first 2 hits injured 2 players on my team. Within the first turn of the second half, he had changed the man advantage. But his thrower failed to pick up, and turn 10, I got most of the players occupied and got a nice attack line advancing the thrower who had still not picked up the ball. But he made the pickup, threw the ball to the agility 4 blitzer and ran forward. Gandalf threw a lightning stunning the blitzer. At that time I had only 8 players left against his 10. I did screen the ball and picked it up next turn with my Chaos Warrior, Kate Schellenbach, which, running her forward and trying to protect her, I kinda tried to save as many players as possible while marking them. I tried to give you, that's the name, some injury SPP, but he was still hitting like a girl. On turn 15, Adam MCA Yacht, my nice Chaos Warrior, had enough of this Dwarven Runner and just killed him. Wow. I was fouling that mean Troll Slayer one more time, but it was only a stun. Kate scored on turn 16 to make it 2-0 in the end. I got 1 niggle on... Okay, I'll read all that in a minute. My personal opinion is that the Dwarves focus too much on hitting, and damn they are good at it, and should have been more aware of the ball, but that's only my unprofessional opinion. Yasinde. He does have some level up information as well. So, 2 touchdowns, 16 armor breaks, and Lifagors, the loner that was bought, got the level up MVP, and Purple Misfits just missed leveling up with the Longbeard, as we've already seen. We've already seen this actually. Let's move on. And then 5, 11, 13, 15, just to remind us there. And then the mirror match with Demoniemon. Let's find that one. It's here, and it's long again. I'm sorry. I want to say as well that when I get these breakdowns, often the person who writes it their first language is not English, so it can be difficult to read. That's not an insult against the people. Just if you find me tripping over my words, I'm rewording it as I'm reading. So Ysinde, Gold Cup Week 5. The Real Beastie Boys, Demoniemon, Blood Frenzied Herd. Finally you, my scary beastman, did his work. On turn 1 he injured the enemy Minotaur to prove his superiority on the field. It was his only casualty inflicted all match, but he made 3 player KOs. He took care that I always got the numbers up. But the other team was hitting too. Right and Fight got hurt as well. One will miss next game, whenever there will be one. It was a classic mirror match where one team had the strength advantage and the other one tried to be elvish. I'm saying tried because those poor players rolled 1s on 6 out of 9 dodges. On the flip side, their 1 dice blocking was good. 11 blocks all resulted in pushes or defender stumble. My ball carrier, Yor, zigzagged his way to a turn 8 touchdown. He was mostly well protected by his fellow players as they stopped their urge to kill and play with some tactics. Okay, it wasn't perfect, but a failed dodge of an enemy beast helped me to complete my drive with a touchdown. In the second half, the enemy Chaos Warrior Berith failed to pick up the ball, so my players couldn't stop and ran forward to pressure him. But we made it in time into a safe position. My players threw themselves in the way just to show them down, and finally with some bloody sacrifices, yeah, my players are bleeding, the Blodge Chaos Warrior went down. But there was still a way for the Blood Frenzied Herd to score. It was the big chance of Crinado II. On turn 14 he tried to pick up the ball. His plan was running forward and hoping to get caught and tackled down, but he failed with a pickup with 2 rerolls into a 2. With 2 rerolling into a 2. 4 had enough of this and pushed this piece out off the pitch. Suddenly the ball was flying into his hand. He looked surprised, but he could fight his inner urge to battle some more and ran the ball into the touchdown zone. I had no level ups from the match. The Blood Frenzied Herd had at least 1 beastman leveling, not sure what he took. Okay, so the Real Beastie Boys, 2 touchdowns, 11 armor breaks, and Party got man of the match. Blood Frenzied Herd, 1 pass, 8 armor breaks, and Chifurudu II got man of the match and leveled up. And we got 5, 6, 11, 13 against 8. 13 against 8. Right, let's have a look at the Real Beastie Boys now then. So 117 in the bank, which I assume he's going to spend on something, but he doesn't know when the next match is going to be, like we said. And he's actually told me about his levels. No levels from Game 5, but Game 4... Well, we had some injuries. There was a niggle, which is gone. Interesting. Or is this the niggle as well? No. Okay. Ah, he fired him, that's why, sorry. He got 1 niggle on Beastman Gotta, which he fired, and minus agility on the Beastman I was just looking at, which will be fodder now. Line of scrimmage fodder. And we took a miss next game on right, I guess. And Yor the Beastman got block. So block here. Rolled another 10, but I really wanted that block skill. Okay, so didn't take movement or armor. And Nifagor's got guard. Yeah. Makes perfect sense. And Kate something. No Kate. That's it. Alright then, that's everything for this team. So each of the teams in gold are going to stay in gold unless they retire, like the peasants are going to, of course. And Ysinde for this season of gold went 1, 2, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, 3-1-1, which should put him somewhere near the top of the board, but we'll have a look at the board in a moment. So that's it for the Real Beastie Boys. Alright, and we finally got there on the last team, Team 5, because the last team, Team 6, is a filler team, of course. It's not actually a team played by a coach. Last team, Team 5, is Demoniemon and his Blood Frenzied Herd. This is the end of the pyramid for both gold and silver, though bronze is of course continuing. So let's have a look at his last two games. We've already seen them. We haven't already seen this one, sorry, we've already seen this one, and the other one was the admin win. So on the admin win, the Minotaur got MVP, which is always nice, and the 2 touchdowns went to 2 separate players. And we just saw this game, but let's just remind ourselves of Demoniemon. 1 pass, 8 armor break, and level up on Beastman, and 8 in total. Let's have a look at the team then, the red team. So let's start with that piece actually. He's been given Mighty Blow, and I guess this Mighty Blow is new as well. So 2 lots of Mighty Blow over the last 2 weeks. Then nothing happened to the Minotaur. Nothing happened to anything else, I think, so the team is looking pretty much the same otherwise. 130 in the bank, probably not going to spend it unless he wants one more beast maybe. 12 is maximum for me on a Chaos team, but 13 is possible. And that's basically it. I can't really say much more about this team, so let's see how Demoniemon did in this season. Keep clicking on that, can't tell from that. So we had 1, 2, 3 wins. They may be the winner, you know. And 2 losses. So it's going to be them or Rylock at the top. There we go then. So that's it. Let's have a look at how gold actually broken down. Let's crown our champion. Here we go. And lastly then, let's actually have a look at the table at the end. Skaven from Fallen Glory doesn't count, of course, it's just a bye week, it doesn't exist. But Rylock is at the top with 5 wins, which is really impressive at this high stakes league, and the top tier of our pyramid. The 2 Chaos came in 2nd and 3rd, respectively. The real Beastie Boys are 2nd with 3-1-1, and the Blood Frenzied Herd are 3-0-2, because Yasende managed to win that game between them. So congratulations to both Chaos teams as well, that's a good record with 3 wins. And then the Bretonnians actually finished in 4th, which is quite impressive for Urban Zorro. We have 1-2-2, because it wasn't an easy round for him at all. And then we've got the Purple Misfits in last, unfortunately, with their 1 win, 1 draw, and 3 losses. Unfortunate for Top Hat. However, there's only 5 teams in gold, so nothing is getting relegated out of the Gold League at least, so there is that. The new season will be coming in a little while. Bronze is actually still going, so there will be a breakdown for 2 more weeks for the Bronze League, specifically, because they've got 2 games left to play. But Gold is finished. Silver has the relegation and the promotion, no, just the relegation game. And Bronze actually has 3 weeks, sorry, because it has the 2 games left and it also has promotion games. So we've got at least 3 weeks left of the pyramid. And of course the KO for the Steel as well. Then we'll be looking at Season 7, and Season 7 will be starting in a few weeks. And we'll see these teams again in action. Thank you all for watching, anybody who's got this far. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate all of the breakdowns you gave me when I was on holiday especially, and for helping me by moving it all into one space. I'm sorry for the few that I missed. It was a bit confusing, so to Chris J, Fallen Glory, and Ook, I think you're the only 3 that I missed, but I missed at least 1 from each of you, so sorry to all 3 of you. I'm not going to add it to the video because it's going to take too long, so sorry that I missed them. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all on the pitch or in Discord soon, and moving on to looking forward to Season 7 for gold at least. Thank you. Bye guys.